Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. And if you want to call in and be part of the show, we would love to hear from you. It's 888-565-1470. And if being on live radio is not your thing, no problem. Send us your comments and we will interact with you on Facebook.
Let's create some momentum. Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. I'm your host, Jay Farrow, here with co-host.
And I am your co-host, Janine. One day I will be present and focused on the beginning of the show. But listen, I don't want to be inconsistent. I don't want to throw you off with my attentiveness. So here we go. I just actually read something on Facebook that said, I don't make a mistake. What was it? It was the most adorable thing. It goes, I don't make a mistake. I never make a mistake, the same mistake twice. I make it like 5 or 6 times, just to be sure. So how's everybody doing on this Friday?
Yeah, welcome to the show about creating the life that you want, starting with the life that you have. And we've been doing this now for well over a year and a half. And even it's failing publicly. I was going to change the name to the name of the show to Failing Out Loud in Public, on a show, just in case y'all missed it.
That's right.
This is where, the life of the entrepreneur working their way up the ladder of life. We just decided to make it public. And so, we're running some businesses and I said to someone today that our business is 5 times the size that it was it 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
5 times the size of what it was. And we had some exciting wins this week. I mean, we're hiring, and during COVID, it's like, it's an interesting experience to be doing interviews on Zoom. And it works. So what the thing that we have found is that working remotely isn't as scary as it once was. With the possibility of having professionals work with us remotely has actually served us, and it kind of gives you the perspective of all of the things that I learned growing up, is that there's a brick and mortar office and you go there at 9 o'clock in the morning and you show up early to impress your boss and stuff like that. Now it's like, for me, I don't care if you're in your PJs and eating your Cheerios, as long as, work's getting done.
That's right. That's right. We're not here to judge if you're working in your robe. So.
And a special shout out to all the dogs out there. I know yesterday was National Dog Day. So I know that we have our guy.
I did not know that. Thank you for not reminding me.
Our law firm's mascot, Mitchell Simon Farrow. There he is.
Oh, my baby. Look at this thing. He's just like, he's pure joy, pure and unadulterated joy.
So it's good to be here, and the week was a very quick week. I was actually out of town for a part of it, and had some business up in South Carolina, believe it or not, where a court was actually in session. I actually been doing a few things this week that were definitely risque when it comes to COVID, flying on airplanes, staying in hotels, and I went to a thing last night where you would have think that people would be wearing masks, but not me. I was, though, but look, from where we were last week, we had our afternoon fireworks this afternoon, all to be expected on a Friday. However, they didn't have the same collateral effect that last week's did. And we are here. We are again. And as much as we've had the conversations of stopping doing this show and what are we doing and oh my God, do we have enough time? Janine, I think that the things that happened to me this week, people reaching out to me especially, being in service to another human being. I
Yes.
think that that's what this is about. I mean, this is showing people that going after the life you want, building your business, making it 5 times the size that it was in 2.5 years. Now hiring people, that's adding to the stream of commerce. Not just one person, but we've taken on contract attorneys. We've taken on a new paralegal. We're looking to take on maybe a couple of associates. I mean, it's just an amazing experience to look back over the last couple of years and see what we've accomplished.
Yeah, it's extremely gratifying. But I was telling Jay today, we were talking about, just a myriad of things. The amount of conversations that go on in one day, from our cases to our clients to then things regarding the business. And I was saying to him, I've been referred in this business as the office manager, and I told him point blank, if I were in fact an office manager, I would be paid consistently. I would be thinner, and I'd probably look a little younger. Okay. This is the face of someone who has more duties than that. This is someone who worries and loses sleep about making sure that the bills are paid. So it's an interesting thing, and it's been really exciting. There are times that we've experienced some really amazing wins, and sometimes we've discussed this before. I don't think we really actually allow ourselves to take them in. We got a piece of paper sent our way this afternoon on an acquisition from one of our clients recently that actually made me tingle, even though, my conversation is, I don't really understand what I'm reading because I'm not a lawyer, but I was like, it's plain English. So I think I do understand what I'm saying, but it made me so joyous. And I realized, like, wow, we're always so concerned about putting out fires and making sure and mitigating and not over representing and doing all of those things, which of course we have to do, that sometimes we don't celebrate. Like, that piece of paper made me want to do a happy dance. And that's something also to be proud of, notwithstanding the fact that, yeah, we've grown the business 5 times what it was. And there's a lot of satisfaction in it. So I want to take at least one red hot minute to just like let it in. Let it in, because we deserve it. And it's satisfying. It's
There's a,
satisfying. And the more satisfaction that we feel, I think the more effective we can be for the people who we are in service to.
So one of the tips of the week, one of the things that I've noticed is that if you're doing things right, the normal people don't want. How am I going to put this? You're not going to fit in everybody. If you're doing things right in the entrepreneurial business or mindset, you're not going to have many people that are going to identify with you or want to be. How am I going to put this in a way that I can describe it on the air and not get in trouble? It's a matter of. I'll give you an example. When I first started this transformation that I've been going through, that I keep posting on Facebook, that I write, by the way, on Facebook a lot. I post like things about my transformation.
When I become an office manager, I'll have the time to read it.
I even post out there the day, the time, and like right now I'm on like day 171, year 3, just a little bit of journaling. Anyway, when I first started this thing, and I was going on this body transformation, I was going to get 6-pack abs in 4 months. People reached out to me and they're like, "Man, you all right? Seems to me like we need to talk or have like an intervention." And there were some choices I made, like the buying of the Mercedes, that I think my parents and I didn't speak for like 6 weeks. But if you're going after the life that you really want to create, you're going to call it out. You're going to call your shot. Ain't too many people that have been around you are going to fit into your box anymore. You're building a bigger, better box, and a lot of people don't want you to build that bigger, better box. A lot of people, that when people start to change, especially in a family or close relationship, if you change, that means they got to change too. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And it's
It
not
is.
hard to see that someone's waking up a little bit earlier, someone's in the gym, someone's doing their thing, or they're eating a certain way. If your relationship is based upon, celebrating mediocrity together, and one person decides, I want exceptional and not mediocre, it's going to be a tough road for people to understand and to support you. A lot of people want to bring you down and keep you down, but it's up to you. And so calling out the life that you want requires leaving the one behind that you were living, and that doesn't mean that you have to lose everybody in your life. It's just that you get to create a different relationship with them, especially if they want to stay where they are. I've talked to a lot of people on this journey that have made this choice, and it has, quote unquote, cost them certain relationships, but there's relationships in life that I have had that were costing me my freedom. It's certainly a commitment. So I joke, Janine, about the days that I count, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like putting a little like pebbles in a collection. Just it's something to remind me of how far I've come when I look back, and I'm like, wow, 2.5 more years ago, I just decided to eat 6 meals a day and going on a body transformation, and that allowed my brain to think that with a little bit more oxygen to go after the life that I want and say, hey, why not me? I told somebody the other day I'm running for president.
Oh, for sure. Like that's been on the docket for a
Right.
while.
So, and
Whether you knew it or not, I'd already, Gina and I are already planning the whole thing. Like, I'm the social secretary, of course. Only handsome, eligible bachelors at any one given time. That's what's up at the White House. But no, listen, Jay, I think it's true. We are people who are always curious and want to level up, want to see what's next, want to explore what is available out there for us to experience. And it takes courage to do that. I know that when I left my stable paying job, people were and continue to be concerned for me. And but I'm happy. We're building something that means something to me. And there's a lot of satisfaction in that. And some people can't understand that. They're afraid for you, or they get concerned for you, or they think that you should be doing it this way or that way. Listen, we all want to put people in boxes, but it doesn't work like that. When you are have the inkling that there's more for you out there and you're curious enough to go and grab it and do what it takes to grab it, it can make people uncomfortable. Look, doing it is uncomfortable. Um, but I would say it's worthwhile. And notwithstanding, listen, we have our wins and we take some pretty big beatings too. We deal with the public, and the public is in our clients, and for the most part I would say that they're really really lovely people, but they're people in distress at some times because they're going through litigation or they're going through a challenging time in their lives, and that makes them challenges to deal with sometimes. Opposing, all of the different personalities that come up. But what do you learn from it, and how can you best be of service to people? I think that's ultimately the guide for us, or it has been in many ways.
simple but not easy. The
Ah,
concept of change. And when you said something a few seconds ago about if it lights you up, or if you're curious about changing your life, um, you know, that's that's the start. Massive action, and we remember 2.5 years ago. Uh, it was actually May of 2018. We had a meeting. I came back from court one day, and we went upstairs to the conference room, and then we had a meeting saying, "Not tomorrow's not going to look like yesterday." I went downstairs and we started to take things out. I have the pictures. This is going to be awesome when we do get there to be on, on a larger platform to share our experience with entrepreneur lifestyle. I have the pictures of the day that we just came downstairs. We took the pictures off the wall. I took my diplomas off the wall. I fired myself. And no, I'm serious. I fired myself, and I even had you re-swear me into to practicing law. Some months later, when I got my job back, when I hired myself back, we took everything off the wall. We took all the things that were looking at all the computers, and we started to upgrade everything that we were doing. From that moment on, I mean, we had movers there that day. Taking out old filing cabinets. Old computer stuff. Within hours, we were well on our way to doing that. And then a couple months later, we had someone come in to decorate the office. And that's it's when you have that undeniable urge to just like, okay, I am tomorrow is not going to look like yesterday. I'm
Right.
going to make a decision now to level up my life. And then it's like, okay, now what? Support and accountability. Even doing this show, Janine, I know that it's just like it's part of our accountability just to have this check-in to see where we're at. And I really can't wait to go back. And we joked about it last week that we were going to have some interns go through all of our old tapes and all of our our old shows.
And there were bleepers.
Right, and I think that we were talking about, upping this show as well, and we're going to be working on that in September. To show the progress of things. I mean, if it's that's 5 times where we are, 5 times the size of the firm that we were, considering who we're all working with and what we're doing. And I just believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Cheryl for writing in and for reaching out. I had some people reach out to me this week. One was from Germany and has been following all of those posts for some time, and it was really nice to get the acknowledgement that it means something for people to hear the message of committed change and sticking to a plan. And you never know who's watching, Janine. You never know who's watching. There's a story that you remember. Father Singleton.
Of course, from St. Anthony's.
And you know the story about him and his neighbor?
No, do tell.
Okay, so this is St. Anthony's Church in Fort Lauderdale. There was a priest there by the name of Father Singleton. And Father Singleton told this story at Mass. I don't know, how true it is, but he is a priest. I mean, maybe it's a fable. He said there was a neighbor that lived right next door to the church. And for many years, he asked the guy, to go to church. And the guy was like, no, it's not for me. And then he, over time, he invited him over for dinner, and I think that they did have some dinners together. I mean, they were neighbors, like in the back where the priests live. Where in St. Anthony. There's like a whole area in Victoria Park. And one day, Father Singleton's like, all right, I'm gonna go and leave a Bible, like right on his doorstep, with like a little something, just like a little note saying, you might find something in this for you, something nice, but it wasn't over the top. And the guy and Father Singleton's, kind of walking away, and he's peeking over, and the guy opens his door and he sees the Bible, and he picks up the Bible and he takes it directly to the trash and he throws out the Bible.
Alrighty then.
And then so Father Singleton walks up to them and says, I noticed that you threw out the Bible that I left for you as a gift. He's like, yeah, I don't need to know anything about that. And Father Singleton, he's like, no, there's a way of life in that book. He's like, yeah, I don't need to read that. All I do is watch you and do what you do.
Oh, wow.
And so that's the point. Like that, when I think about this show, and as funny as it is to fail online, or talk about your failures online and building the business and the woes that you go through and the times that you're checking your daily balances to see if you have enough money for your own personal groceries because everything's wrapped up in the business. You think about like, hey, that's the dedication that and sacrifice that it takes. I mean, it's no different. Like you have a priest that goes without a lot of stuff, takes a vow of poverty,
Yeah.
and then, we do what we do and people watch. I see the numbers on this show and I see there's a few hundred people that watch every single week or at least tune in for a little bit of it. And then they get a little bit of the message of, hey, committed change is possible. It just requires accountability and a lot of willingness and a lot of just belief. But it's amazing to know who's watching you because
Yeah.
everybody, I mean, people are for better or for worse, and you can
Right.
either be in a lesson or you can be an example. I'd rather be the example.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that also the example is to not be afraid. Listen, you're not going to have successes all the time. But I do believe my friend taught me this. Don't die curious. Go for it. Really go for it. Even when you fail, even when it doesn't work out your way, it ultimately does. What you don't know when you're going through something, when you're right in the middle of it, is that it is actually working out your way. It's working out for your best and highest. And I think that when you can surrender into that, your life is a little bit easier to live. When you have that confidence, your life is a little bit easier. There's that saying, we plan and God laughs. It's true. And things, it's not, everything happens in its perfect timing. There are just so many different things that are going on all the time. And we get down on ourselves when we don't think it's going the way we think it should or whatever. But I know that one of the things that I've been practicing is that trust and surrender, that the best outcome for me is what's at hand, even if it looks a little twisted from time to time, or even if it takes maybe a little bit longer to get to where I want it to go. That trust has made it easier on me and frees me up to be more joyful in what we're doing and more confident in what we're doing. So I would say that for sure. And a friend of mine called me. She wanted to make a big leap in her personal life, and I told her the same thing. Don't die curious. Win, lose, or draw, you're going to get the information you need to move on with your life one way or the other. And I think it's really important to be there for yourself and to employ courage and to know that everything passes, nothing stays down forever, just like nothing stays up forever. There's always an ebb and flow to everything. That's what makes this life exciting and fun and interesting. And yeah, I would say to people like, have courage. Have courage. Go after what your heart desires. Be there for yourself, you know?
I would, I have a way of saying that too. Get off your ass and take some action. If you want to go after your life, get that fire. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. There was that thought you said, "Don't die curious." I had that thought the other day about not having run for president or not have taken the chance to go after the things that I, wanted to do. And there's all these things that came up about like, oh, I'm not that person, or that's for some other people, and they're born into that. All these stories came up, and it was just so unusual. I'm like, the heck with that. I would actually imagine myself being on that deathbed in a hospital or wherever it was, and just like, man, I could have done all this stuff. And I was the common denominator and holding myself back every single time. Don't die curious.
Yeah. And you know what, it's really interesting too, because we are the common denominator, but it's because we buy our own stories of limitation. You just said it. As soon as you thought of becoming president, right after that thought came all of the doubt. But it really is nonsense. It's like also being accountable to yourself and saying, like, wait a minute, what am I willing to buy today? Why not me? Why not? And just really creating another story of possibility. Um, and I think that living in that place is a lot more fun. Like I've been watching myself too with my stories. I've been watching, one of the things I'm holding myself accountable right now is I don't have time. Well, of course I don't have time. I keep on saying I don't have time. My brain is obedient. It will make sure I don't have time because I'm commanding it every single day with the same message. Or I'm tired. I look tired. Well, of course I'm tired. And of course I look tired because, again, my brain is obedient. So it's catching myself in those moments and being like, okay, I get to change my messaging. I'm in control of this.
Right.
I'm not in control of you. I'm not in control of the weather. I'm not in control of anything and not interested. But I am, however, in control of me.
I have a different take on that,
Go ahead. Share it.
but not today.
Ooh, is that a cliffhanger?
That would be a
Daring of
cliffhanger.
you.
Stay tuned. So
Momentum
this is the
Mindset.
last Friday in August. Can we believe we're turning the corner and having the bookend of the official end of summer
Oh
is
my
on
gosh.
Labor Day, and and then I think the next week is Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. That's
We've got
basically how it
2
goes. It's
minutes.
Labor Day, and then you blink your eyes. It's Halloween, and then it's going to be November. I do have some big announcements for next week. I do want to say that we are committed to doing the show as we're doing it, and we're going to do our best to get a revamp of the show with some different graphics. We're going to work with our producers and come up with something very creative and give this show some polish because we're really proud of it. And thank you all who watch. We appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
and keep going.
That's it. Keep going, everybody, and keep going to have a fantastic weekend. Stay well.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.